We're feeling better, I think collectively as a group, from the illness stuff that we've had kind of going around. And that's encouraging, having guys back in practice. The quick, Nico has been cleared, so he'll be in uniform on Sunday. Amani's still fighting some of his spasms, but is getting better, so he's day to day. You know, anytime you play Michigan State, Michigan State played really good. You expect them to play really, really hard, and I thought their team responded after their Northwestern game and played extremely hard, and actually I thought played really well. But in looking back, I thought we were was pleased with what we did on the defensive side late. I thought we were pretty good in taking in making things difficult for their two guards. They took a lot of attempts, but you know, the effectiveness was pretty good. I thought we did a nice job of not fouling. That will be a big key for tomorrow's game. Maryland gets to the line a lot. They're one of the top teams in the country in free throw rate. They do it a little differently through their bigs, but they also have an elite point guard. So you know, Maryland's a team that has great size and positional size. You know, it starts with Reese at the 5, and then Scott and Geronimo, and then their wings are both young kids, but they're both physically very, very strong and big. So we'll have to execute. We'll have to rebound. I think they're getting close to 15 offensive rebounds a game, as here in the last few games. That's a huge key for us, is making sure we're rebounding. But again, another great test against a team that was, I think, picked second to win the league, and a very talented team that we'll have to play well against.
Brad, Nico was starting to make really meaningful contributions before his injury. How do you go about reintegrating him now?
Yeah, we'll see how the flow of the game goes. You know, he's been really good in practice. I think the biggest key with Nico was from a conditioning standpoint. The good thing is he's a really good athlete. So he never got totally out of shape. But you know, anytime you have a foot injury, you know, those opportunities will be probably a little shorter time frame wise than maybe they were early, just from a conditioning standpoint. But yeah, we'll see how the flow of the game goes.
How many practices? Excuse me. How many practices would you say he's had leading up to being in uniform tomorrow?
He started last Sunday, and there was a little progression of individual workouts and on-court stuff before he was back in practice. So, you know, he's a good, probably 9-10 workouts, and then, you know, week 5 days of practice.
Thursday, Tom kind of talked about Ty maybe knowing who he is as a player, doing what he can do, and not trying to force what he can't. I mean, do you feel like you have maybe a roster of guys that have identified sort of who they are?
I think so. I think it's a good way to put it. I think guys have, you know, I like to call that role identification and falling into your role and understanding exactly what your role is and being comfortable with that. And, you know, Ty is great because he doesn't, he excels at what he knows he can do to help our team. I think we're a team that doesn't have a lot of ego from the standpoint that usually you have a roster full of guys that, well, I'm a 5-man, but I want to be a 3-man, and I'm a point guard, and I want to be a 2, or I'm a 2 and I want to be a point. Nobody cares. Everybody just wants to play basketball, and again, I think that's the connectivity and the maturity, and nobody's trying to be something they're not, and everybody's trying to exceed at what they do well, and Ty's right up there.
Nice defense, Lucas, Justin, doing to be able to integrate and be able to kind of improve in what you guys are
consistency has been a big piece of that for him. I think one of the things that we've always known is he can really sit down and do it when he wants to do it. It's just at this level, you know, and he's doing it every play. You know, when we talk about winning the battle, and you got to win more battles before you can win the war, and those battles are every possession, and they're not taking possessions off, and we ride him every day about it, every single day, and now he's becoming very consistent. Where, you know, on the offensive side, he's gifted. He's a really good offensive player, but you know, on the defensive side, it's just taking that consistency to another level and just getting it adjusted that way.
Brad, I understand if you want to keep this internal, but some of the players attended Terrence's hearing yesterday. Was that something that you guys discussed beforehand, and did you give them the A-OK to go to that?
No, they're supporting their teammate, and that's what good teammates do, and then we'll get back and jump right back on Maryland.
Dante's had some good games against you guys in the past. What have you seen from that? But then also with Quincy, it seems like you now have some like size to throw at him too. Quincy's. I told Coach Boeheim this, the other day when he was here doing radio, and Quincy's turned into an elite defender, and he's got a great challenge in Dante. Dante's coming off a great game. In their last one against Michigan, he's that multi-purpose guy who can shoot it. He's got a big body. He's got a handle, and he can get in the paint and spin and create opportunities. So, he's a very good player. But that is a position that we have not necessarily had great strength at in the past. And Dante has had good games. So. We'll have to do our job because he's playing well, and he's a good player, and we'll have to be ultra competitive tomorrow at that spot.
You said maybe before Michigan State game, just in terms of Dane, just trying to find the matchups to get him on the court because he can make an impact. Like, what situations are you looking forward to maybe use him?
Yeah, and again, it's a little bit of flow of the game. Scott, he impacted the game at a pretty high level in terms of he came in, he outran the court, got a layup. There's lineups we really like him with. There's some not as much, and it's a Coleman is when we switch, when we face ball screens. It's just a matter of kind of the feel of the game, and what goes on with Quincy. It's a complex. It's not just simply Dane, and the matchup. It's kind of the flow of the game as well. And we know Dane's a great player. I just saw him. He was on the treadmill running 2.5 extra miles before practice. So he's he works at it. He's an unbelievable kid, and we're going to need him, and tomorrow may be one of those days.
This year's team has a lot of those better glue guy types. Is it easier to watch on the sideline knowing that you're bringing 7 guys out there and do what you want?
Yeah, it's always a pretty good feeling. That I think that it was really strange the other night for me. Like when Michigan State made their run, and I don't know what they got up 6 or 8 or whatever it was. I just didn't panic. I mean, a year ago I would have felt pretty uncomfortable, and this team just kind of gives you that easy feeling, and okay, we're okay, and you know what you're getting. I mean, with our roles, with our guys, they're consistent. They don't panic, and we found a way in a game that really was kind of a choppy game for us. I didn't think we played exceptionally well on either end, but yeah, you find a way, and experience, and guys that understand the rules allow that to happen.
Coleman is kind of a player that doesn't always show up in the box score, but it seems like on Twitter, Facebook, people are finally seeing that he's an NBA caliber player. Are you finally, glad that people are seeing what you've been seeing?
Yeah, Coleman's really good, and you have to dig deep into the breakdown of the game and understand the game to know what his impact is on the defensive side. And Coleman's a very, very elite level competitor, and people see him, on the court get emotional sometimes. That's all in the face of competition, and he wants to win as bad as anybody. And then you channel that with his intelligence and his IQ, his understanding of our system and what we do. I mean, he knows it. He knows it all. I mean, I could go give him practice, and he could run practice right now, and we would be prepared. And he'll know Maryland backward and forward, and that's a rarity. So his in-depth understanding of the game is a real plus, and then his ability to guard all 5 spots on the court is unique.
He said on Twitter after Friday's game or Thursday's game he wants to start a Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year campaign. You endorsing that?
Oh, 100%. I've been endorsing that all year. I think he's. It's nice when guys are concerned about that end, and not maybe his most of them want points and shots and this and that, but there's not a lot of guys like him, and just from his intelligence standpoint alone on that side. And it doesn't matter if it was Zach Edey the game before, or getting switched onto Walker. He just finds a way, and he's, knock on wood, he's had really good success. He's gonna have a great day tomorrow. Reese and Scott are both really good interior players, and they'll post it. So we lean on Coleman a lot. I'm all for that.
Brad, would it be an overstatement to say that this team doesn't make as many mistakes, and maybe mentally, if you say they're not playing well at times, it's more about execution or shots not falling or something like that?
To this point, probably. I think that's should be expected of a veteran team. I always go back a couple years ago, and we had we do a scouting report breakdown after every game in terms of the number of mistakes we make. And, we won an entire game against Michigan and made two scouting report mistakes, and that's elite. And our guys get graded on that every single game, how many scouting report mistakes they make. We test them on it before every game, so it's more common with an older, experienced team to not make those mistakes. And I know we're much better than we have been.
I mean, with several guys playing pretty big minutes in between games, are you changing kind of what they do, just sort of maybe practice, or kind of how that's handled?
Yeah, some of it's not as much as you guys think. It's the timing of the games. The other night it's an 8:00 game. We have the slide, so it's 8:15 or whatever when it gets started. It's 11 o'clock, 11:30 by the time these guys get out of here. Making sure we get ample rest. I think everybody was in a hyperbaric yesterday. We brought them up in the morning and closed that game out, had film, and they got treatments with Fletch and a lift, and then we practiced a little bit last night. Today will be a little different. So every game's different from start time to minutes played, but these guys got a great workout in yesterday, and today will be a little more normal, I would say.
I guess with Nico, before he got hurt, he's maybe figured some things out, had a couple pretty good performances. I guess 10 games later, however long it's been, almost 2 months, how does he maybe work back in to not lose? Maybe
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, his speed is one thing we love, his ball handling, his decision making, his IQ. Again, I think there's, we weren't into Big Ten games necessarily as when he was playing and going. So, you know, we'll see. You know, it's two sides of the floor. You know, offensively and defensively, we got to make sure we're comfortable on both ends with him. But you know, his ball handling is playmaking is second to none. I mean, he's elite at it, and the speed he played with, which is good. We can utilize that. So yeah, we'll see how the game goes.
Thanks, guys.